We are live. We are live. How y'all doing? How you guys doing? Let me see if this is popping up inside the group. So for those of y'all that are new, my name is Joseph Googie. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing my good friend, brother, and really my coach, my mentor, Casey and mine's mentor, Greg. Man, they have no idea what's about to happen tonight, but we're both extremely excited. Greg, for those of y'all, for those that don't know you, what's something just kind of quick about who you are and what you do, and then we'll dive into what we're really here for tonight.
Oh man, so I am a physical therapist by trade, and I believe I have, and well, I'll say this: I'm a physical therapist by trade, and I'm really starting to understand that maybe the reason why people are so attracted to me is because I've been a mobile physical therapist. I have been a staff physical therapist. I've been a clinic director. I've worked in a skilled nursing facility. I've worked in an acute setting. I've had my own clinics. I have had an online business. I have been a consultant for private practice owners. I'm a consultant now that does online programs and consults people that way. I have hosted a live event. I have an agency, and I own real estate. I've really done nearly everything. I homeschool my 4 children. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just know I've done a lot, right? I've done a lot, and I want to be very honest with y'all. I am an immigrant. I'm not from this country. Obviously, you can see I'm Black. I don't come from a family of wealth. Today, I'm a multimillionaire. More importantly, I have kids that love me, and I have a wife that loves me more than the kids. So with that said, I do feel like I have some value that I could potentially give you all. And in whatever way I can do that, I'm going to try to do that tonight. And, you know, I say that because with the whole, okay, this is what I've done, but I can also tell you that I started off in my first job. I was selling newspapers, and I worked there for 2.5 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks. It was like 15 days. And I averaged, I think, 26 cents an hour. And today I make $3,000 an hour. So that's kind of my story. And throughout all of that, there's just a lot of things I've learned. And Joseph knows this, and he'll tell you this because he's been at every single event I've hosted, and he's around me whenever I'm around you all. Pre-doctor, everything that I've done today, if you know anything about me, here's what you don't know. I only did everything because of you. Because of you all. That was my whole reason for all of this. My whole reason for everything that I was doing was for you. And if you don't believe me, go to my YouTube channel right now. You'll see. You'll see the 2 videos that are the most popular videos were directed to you.
Is that the do you want to be a physical therapist?
Should you be a physical therapist?
Yep.
And don't go into PT school if you were this.
So y'all ready for tonight or what? Shoot. Man. Is there anything before we dive in tonight, Greg? Because y'all listen, y'all are going to hear Greg and I talking back and forth. And as we're going, like, feel free to ask questions and just kind of engage with us tonight. This is more of a conversation because this is everything that you're hearing tonight. I can almost guarantee you're not hearing it anywhere else. And why it's so important is because you're all here deciding. Most of y'all have decided. Some of y'all are still on the fence about PT. But if this is the profession you've fallen in love with, we always preach that there's nothing that should hold you back. And one of the biggest holdbacks is everything we're about to share tonight. And you just never having been taught it. So Greg, before we dive into everything, is there something or anything that you want them to know to kind of preface it, or do you just want to dive in?
I mean, there's plenty I want to know. That's why I made this my last interview for tonight, because I don't want any, like, this group here, like, y'all just need to understand. And I don't want anything holding us back. I want nothing holding us back. If we finish in 20 minutes, fine. If we finish in an hour and a half, whatever we need to do to get it done, we're going to get it done tonight.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And people need to understand the responsibility that there is behind making the decision to become a physical therapist. This is a life-altering decision. And you need to understand it. There's responsibility that comes with it. And a lot of people aren't taking full responsibility.
Mm.
And that does not sit well with me. It doesn't sit well. Now, I want to tell you something. Knowing what I know today, the profession has never been in such a lucrative position as what it is today. Never. It is lucrative. And when I mean, so what does lucrative mean? Lucrative means that I don't give a damn what school you go to. I don't give a damn how much it costs to get into a school. If you know the things that you need to know to take advantage of how lucrative it is to be a physical therapist today, none of it matters. It doesn't matter. But if you're not willing to do those things, then yeah, it matters what school you get into. But I question, should you even be in school anyways? So as long as we understand those things, we're good. You're in the right place at the right time. But we better understand it. Straight up.
That's the truth, man. Like it, I wish I understood it as a pre-PT, but I feel it now. I definitely feel it now. And tonight, for a lot of you, like if you guys are watching live or replay, how many of you have just struggled with just hearing some of the things that are going on in physical therapy? Y'all are the pre-PTs. You guys are the future of what we do. Greg's a physical therapist. I'm a physical therapist. Casey's a physical therapist. Like, how many of you can just be honest and say, yo, like, I've actually heard some of the things from other PTs that I've shadowed. I've seen that there's some things that have changed where they're talking about cutting some of the pay for PTs. Let's be real. Like, if we're not talking about it, I mean, what's the point in sugarcoating it? Like, how many of you have actually had some fears? Like, maybe even like second guessing. Maybe even saying, shoot, like I sold my mother on this profession, but I don't know anymore. I don't know. They don't sound too sure. The PTs I'm shadowing don't sound too sure anymore. The PTs I'm shadowing are telling me, Greg, they're telling me that I should be, looking at, being a physician or doing something else. Like, how many of y'all thought that? And Greg, what I would love for you to do is just like for a pre-PT right now, who's either watching this now or on replay and is saying, Greg, like, I want to like stay in love with physical therapy, but I just don't know. Like there $100,000 in PT school debt sounds like a lot to me. Even 80,000 sounds crazy. 150 sounds ridiculous. Like, how can I even start understanding what I need to do? You just said that if if I want to have a shot at actually enjoying or succeeding in this profession, there's some things I have to do. So for schooling, like how can I make sure that I'm doing the right things to make it worth my investment that I'll be paying for a long time?
All right. So listen, this is what I need. This is what I need you all to do. I'm actually going to do a training right now. And I need every single person. I know you guys have lots of people in this group, but any person, for those that are listening, if you know of someone in this group that is contemplating getting into physical therapy school, has gotten into PT school, is currently in PT school, I need you to tag them. And whatever, and whoever's watching the video right now, like from when I pull up my screen to when I end my screen share, I need you just to tell them, look, you don't have to listen to the first part. Just listen to this. And once you all understand this, this is it. It's game over. You're going to remember January 1st, 2020 is when someone explained this to me. Every single fear that I have, now I understand. Every single thing that a physical therapist has said to me, negative, I finally get it. Every single person that I've seen that's killing it in the field, oh, that's what they're doing. Every PT that feels as though they're inferior and they feel like the DPT wasn't worth it, it's going to all make sense. Are y'all want to give me about 6 minutes? I'm pulling up the screen. Here we go. You all need to understand the patient cycle. They will never teach this in school. Your professors will never make any mention of it. And the reason why they won't is because they don't know. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works, but I do. This is the patient cycle, my friends. I'm going to go through everything here in a second. Here's how this works, guys. The first thing that happens for a patient to even potentially come into your world is there has to be marketing and advertising done. Someone is doing that. In 98% of the cases with physical therapists, it's not them. Once you have marketed and advertised to someone, that means you are starting to talk to people about a problem that they didn't even know that they have. And when they show interest, they turn into a potential lead because they realize that you might have a solution for them. That then moves them into the sales cycle, which means that they know that there's a problem that they have. The solution is physical therapy, and someone has to sell them on the solution. 99% of the time, y'all, that's not a physical therapist, unfortunately. Once they're sold on doing treatment, this is where most physical therapists only work. They fulfill and they treat clients. And once you finish fulfilling and treating, the whole cycle starts over. Here's the problem. The problem is that right now in our field, 97 to 99% of physical therapists only know how to do this. That means that 1 to 3% of physical therapists know how to do this, this, or this. So, why don't you all answer this for me? In order to be in the top 1%, what would you have to do? Joseph, why don't you answer?
In order to be in the top 1%, you have to know how to do all of them.
You have to know how to do all of them. Now, I want to break down for you all some of the things that you've probably heard from physical therapists, people that you have shadowed, and they've said, you know what? It really sucks that like I can't treat the patients the way that I want to treat them. Because like doctors telling me that I need to do this when I know that that's not indicated and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the problem. The problem is that the doctor has marketed and advertised to the client. The doctor then brought the client in. And when he brought the client in, he started in the room telling them about physical therapy. That means now there's someone interested. Then the doctor said, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to give you a script. You're going to go and you're going to take the script and you're going to bring it to that physical therapist over there. The doctor did all the selling for you. So all you had to do is fulfill and treat. In today's world, fulfilling and treating pays a certain amount. You have to go off of the averages. If all you're going to do is fulfill and treat, you're going to have to go off of the averages of what the market is. So you're just going to have to add up the numbers if it makes sense for you or not. But I'm not interested in going with the averages. Today, if I had to go with the averages, I don't know. I mean, if the school's cheap, I mean, it's not going to work for me, okay? But for me, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to do what the average people do. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn this. And I'm going to learn this. And here's what I understand. I understand because most physical therapists don't want to learn this, or this. That makes me even more valuable. Y'all, let me ask you this question. When you hear of a car, like let's just say it's a Mercedes AMG. And you hear it's a Mercedes AMG, and it's an AMG that, it's like you can get it at any Mercedes dealership, right? It's probably $70,000, something like that, right? But then there's some of them that's a Mercedes AMG, one of four. Which one's more valuable? It's the one of four. You got it. You see, y'all, here's the deal. The deal is that the more people in our profession are resistant to learning those other three things, the more valuable you become. You could be one day out of school as a physical therapist, and you could be at the top 1% of your profession. As I said, that's never been the case before in the history of our profession. You could learn those skills that I just showed you. You could learn those skills while you're in physical therapy school. And you will have separated yourself from 99% of the profession right out of school. But you have to be willing to do that. And if you're not, I don't know what to tell you. It's that simple.
It really is. Here's the thing, G. Like, one of the biggest things is that, especially as pre-PTs right now, like we're all impressionable, right? Like it's kind of like our parents, right? Whoever we're exposed to the most, we tend to think, wow, that must be how the world is, right? In the same way, like that's why what you just said is so important for everyone listening right now, mainly because like if I'm seeing my PT, like if I'm doing my observation hours and that's all I'm seeing, then my idea is that, shoot, like the only way I can get paid more is if I complain about it more. The only way, that's why you're seeing it more. The only way I can get paid more is if I do something that's like a scam, right? Like we always think that there's like it's like I'm being confined into a box. But what you're telling me, Greg, is the fact that as a pre-PT or as a physical therapist, it doesn't matter. I have the ability to add my value simply by taking control. Like I'm in control. So you tell me that like the profession and insurance companies aren't the ones confining me. I have the ability to actually increase my value that way?
Yes.
Huh.
That's it. but it's not easy to do. The skills aren't hard. It's what you're being bombarded with that's hard.
Mercy.
The skills are easy. Okay, y'all here, listen. I have a program that I'm releasing next Monday where I can teach you the skills as good as what you'll learn as an entry-level therapist. I can teach you those three levels of skills that you can be at entry level in 21 days. The skills aren't hard. This is not pre-calculus. This is not x plus 3 to the second power, y plus x parentheses, this, that, over pi. Like, this is not hard.
I don't even remember
this is not hard. Yo, my daughter just did the SAT. So I'm like looking at all these. I'm like, what the heck, man? I don't know how to do stuff anymore.
Foreign language.
This stuff is not hard to do. But the reality is that if you're being bombarded with people that are saying, well, especially people that don't know it are going to, and these are people that you look up to. Because I'm thinking for myself. I remember when I was volunteering at clinics, anything that the PT or a PTA told me was gold because I wanted to be them, right? So whatever they told me, it was a massive impression on me. Okay, so if I go to them and say, oh my gosh, I'm learning something from this guy who's teaching me marketing, they're like, why do you need to know that? Well, they don't know it. So that's scary to them. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So now you got to deal with that. That's the hard part. Like one of the greatest things of me having my own business is not even the fact that I have my own business. One of the greatest reasons and one of the greatest perks of me having my own business is that it pushed me away from all the people that can never do it.
That's true.
So I never had those constant negative impressions that were going on. All I had was me and my patients and time. That's all I had. So it's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's no harder than learning the brachial plexus. I don't know if y'all even know what the hell that is. You go learn it in school. It's no harder than knowing the origins and insertions of the coracobrachialis. You're gonna learn that in school. You're gonna have to learn the origins and insertions of every single muscle in the body. You're gonna have to learn every nerve innervation in the body. This ain't any harder. This is easier. But it's not necessarily respected by the people that might be in front of you. Go tell your parents and see how quickly you get, it is what it is.
Man, you better preach. You better preach. Is this making sense to anybody right now? Is this making sense? Because y'all listen, with anything, and Greg is just Greg told you at the beginning, he's a physical therapist. None of the stuff he's doing is outside of healthcare, is outside of even physical therapy. He just understands that people are people, right? In any clinic, people are people. People have to find their way into that clinic somehow. You're right now trying to get into PT school in order to become the clinician where people come to you, you treat them, they go out, whatever. But the honest truth is the problem that we're facing is the problem of saying, is it worth it? Because I'll be real, 20 years ago, PT school was not as expensive as it is right now. We'd be doing y'all a disservice if we're not addressing that. It wasn't. And the honest truth is, Greg, from the time I graduated from my program, I've been a PT for 2 years, bro. My program was $32,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years later, it's at $39,000 a year. So in 2 years, it jumped that much. So it's not stopping, right?
Right.
So we have an option. We either say, hey, it's getting too expensive. Let's just not be physical therapists. We could do that. Let's just not be PTs. Let's rebel. let's rebel. Let's do something else that will pay us more because that'll show them. But what happens then? What happens then? If y'all are getting into this profession for the reason that I hope you are, that then you're trying to like save people from having to go through some stuff they don't have to, whether that's surgery, whether that's like having to be disabled for a long time. Well, okay, so if we decide to not be PTs, well, all of a sudden, a lot of people suffer. So that doesn't sound like the right solution. Huh? What if Greg's up to something, y'all? Like, what if we just learn how to like increase our personal value? If no one else wants to learn it, why can't we as pre-PTs? Why can't we start learning those things and applying them now? Greg, let me ask you this. Like, if I were to start learning some of those things, like, do they have value when I become a PT or do they have value before I become a PT? How does that work?
They have value the minute you start learning them.
Mercy.
That's it. They have value the minute that you start learning them. I'm going to give you a perfect example. There's a guy that currently works for me. This guy makes right under $4,000 a month working for me right now. He was a pre-PT. But what he did is he learned a set of skills that helps me with the things that I put on the screen, particularly right here, this one section. This is what he helps me with through one skills of making videos. And that's one skill that he actually learned from me. It's just so funny, right? He learned initially from me and then just built on it and has done a really good job. And I decided to say, you know what? You can come work for me. And so at $4,000 a month, like, are we tripping about, like, are we tripping about loans? I trip about loans. And then he's learned it and then learned how to teach other people it so he can actually turn it into a business and scale it to where he doesn't have to make $4,000 a month. He can make $14,000 a month, $16,000 a month.
He's not in PT school right now.
He's not in PT school.
Mercy.
So, you know, at the end of the day, this is how it works. Now, here's the thing. So let's again, and by the way, if y'all have questions, you know, if you, and like Wesley said, a lot of my classmates don't get it yet. Some just don't want to get it. Like that means you win that much easier, Wesley. Like it's not for you. Here's the deal. For me, let me tell you how I handle it. I want y'all to handle it the same way that I handle it. The way that I handle is this. It is not for me to convince anybody of anything. All it is for me is that if you know better, it is your responsibility, Wesley, to do better. Now, for me, it is not my responsibility to convince anyone to do anything. There are people that are going to be willing to listen and they're going to be receptive to listening. And then there are some that aren't. It's no different than this. When I order something on Amazon, and I have my mind set on it, and I look at the reviews, I got my mind set on it, I only look at the 5-star reviews. Ain't that something? When I don't have my mind set on it, what do? I look at the 1-star. But there are times where I'm like, you know what? I am going to be partial and I'm going to look at both. So at the end of the day, the people that just want to look at the 1-stars, you can't help them. Like, you just can't. You can't. So you just have to do your thing. Look, if every single person in healthcare did this, like if everyone in healthcare did this, maybe it wouldn't be as valuable. But that's not the case. so I just know that today. Look, y'all, if I had to do PT school all over again, would I do it today if it was $100,000 a year in grad school? Yes. If it was $100K, so my program is $350,000. If my program was $350,000, $100,000 every single year, it's a 3.5-year program, and it's $350,000. Would Greg Todd do it today? What Greg Todd knows today? Absolutely, positively, yes. I paid $350,000. I'd actually pay $500,000. I would. But that's because I know what I know today. Would I rather be a PT than a realtor? Yes. Would I rather be a PT than just a straight marketer? Yes. I'd rather be a PT marketer. I'd rather be a PT salesperson. I'd rather be a PT person that's in charge of leads and acquisitions. I'd rather be a PT that knows how to take clients that are patients and turn them into my new marketing and advertising. Because I know that that's infinitely worth more than me just being a marketer, or me just being an advertiser, or me just being a realtor.
Yeah.
That's how it works, folks. That's how it works. That's the game. Now, here's the deal. Let's talk about how the world works and how money is exchanged. And again, look, I don't expect y'all to know these things. I don't expect y'all to know these things, but someone's got to teach it to you. And that's why I said I want everyone to watch that part of the video that I showed that, and they will remember X and Stone, whether they look at it a year from now, 2 years from now, they'll be like, yo, that explained every single thing that you're going to see for the rest of your life in your career, whatever career you choose, you're going to see is going to go back to that. And you're going to be like, damn, he was right. He was right. And I learned that on January 1st, 2020. And the reason why I wanted to do this today is because I wanted to be very clear how long it took you to get that. Is it going to take you a year? Is it going to take you 5 days? It's going to take you 5 years. But once you get it, it's game over. It is over. It is over. If you don't get into PT school, it doesn't even matter. You'll get in the next time. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you know that, hey, I got to learn these skills anyways. It doesn't matter. If the PT program is a lot of money, it doesn't even matter. None of it matters. But see, our parents don't think like that. Professors don't think like that. Everything is because the reason why they're like, oh my gosh, you got to be careful what school you go into. Oh my gosh, because they don't know how to make more money.
Ain't that the truth? Is this making sense to y'all? Is this making sense to y'all? Like, if it's making sense, just let me know in the comments. Say it makes sense or something like that. Like first time Greg and I talked was early 2017, and I was in my last year of PT school. Now, even though I learned it that late, it's paid off pretty well. And I don't feel like I'm in some cap or bubble, like when it comes to PT. And it's honestly allowed me to love PT that much more. Like, y'all shouldn't have to feel like you have to switch to something else. But Greg said it. Like, if the people around you don't understand this, then it makes it difficult. But now y'all saw it. You saw it. You saw the steps, and you saw where the holes are, especially for other PTs, yourself in general. But you have to understand all four or all five. Like, You have to understand the entire process if you want to increase your value. You can start that now as a pre-PT. You can decide to wait 5 or 10 years and waste time. Like, it's up to you. It's up to you. But once you start learning that stuff, that's when like your value, like your monetary value increases. Your ability to have full control of your career. I mean, we talk about control all the time with getting into PT school. Shoot, talk about your career. Like, talk about that. Like right now, like, we don't have kids, right? Like, let's say I found out like in 2 weeks that my wife was pregnant or something like that, right? Like, what? Like, I'm just gonna like stay stuck. So like, what if we had twins, for crying out loud, right? Like I can't stay capped. Like, I can't say, hey, we're okay now, Greg. We're good. It's just the two of us. We're okay. What if everything changes? What if I get sick? What if she gets sick? Like, what if one of us can't work for a whole year? Y'all, life happens. But if you let it happen that way, then everything is reactive. Every single thing is reactive. And this thing you've invested so much time and money into doesn't pay off. Now it becomes what you feel like is your curse. Now it's like, oh my goodness, now I can't take care of my family. I'm just a PT. Come on now. Come on, y'all, we only have two options. We can either all just run away from PT and let everyone else suffer, or we can understand this stuff and not just preserve our careers, but change so many more lives as PTs in the profession.
Hey, can we go back to that screen for a second? Because you keep on referring back to changing more lives. Let's go back to this screen here. Hopefully it's still up.
Oh,
you know, one of the things that I think is so interesting is we talk about marketing and advertising. And a lot of PTs are saying that they're disenchanted because there are other people telling them the way that they have to treat clients. Well, that wouldn't be the case if you did the marketing and advertising, right? So it's so funny because we want to be able to change lives, but we want to be able to change lives in ways that we know that will actually change their life. Well, see, if you actually knew how to do this, then you wouldn't have to worry about who's saying what because you're in control. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny that this marketing and advertising would actually lead to you being able to do the fulfillment and treatment in the way that you want to be able to do it? You see, what's so funny, this is so funny. So funny is this. The funny part about it is that I'm able to train students in the way that I want to train them because I get the people. I'm not having to rely on anybody to get them for me. So nobody can tell me that I can't play Lil Wayne at my conferences, and nobody can tell me that I can't play Kanye.
Facts.
During my thing. And there's nobody can tell me anything. I can train the people however I want to do it. If I want to be in a t-shirt, if I want to be in Vans, if I want to not wear any shoes, if I want to act like I'm Moses, for crying out loud, if I want to have some sandals, I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because I'm in charge of marketing and advertising. So the funny thing is that if we want to be able to help people and people say, oh, I don't like the way that they do it at clinics or whatever, well, why don't you just learn those other skills so you can do it in the way that you see fit? But we don't want to learn the skills, do we? I'm telling you, y'all, this goes so deep. And we don't have to make this complicated. We really don't. We don't have to make it complicated. We just have to decide when are we going to accept it. I just want everyone to know that on January 1st, 2020, they were told away.
Yep. Greg, I'm a pre-PT right now. I'm listening. This is either the first time, funny enough, I actually had a conversation with a pre-PT who's here, who's live right now this morning, who was starting to ask these questions. Right. But as a pre-PT, if right now I'm understanding that it's not just about the treatment and eval stuff that I learned in PT school, right? How do I start learning that stuff right now? What should I be like looking at? Where should I be going? How can I start tangibly acting on that tonight as a pre-PT if I want to learn the other 3 areas that most PTs in general don't even want to learn that would increase our value? Like, where do we go? How do I do that right now if I'm a pre-PT listening?
Okay, so number 1 is I'm going to tell you to watch this video again. Okay, because if you're hearing this for the first time, it might not. 95% chance it's not going to sink in yet.
Mm.
You just watch it over. It's amazing. And by the way, I'm one of these people where I'm not like moving from thing to thing, book to book, blah, 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 blah. Like I study the thing over and over and over again. Mastery. Yes, mastery is the key. So number one, the first thing I would do is I listen to this again. Number two is I'm about to tell you about a program that I am releasing this Monday for 21 days of getting you to entry level with all of these things and more for less than $100.
Mercy Lord.
So we won't even listen, let's not even get into what I charge people. But I can tell you this right now. I charge people. I really don't. When you think of what PT school charges you and what they give you versus what I charge and give you, it's pennies. But with that said, this is like micro pennies, okay? Yes. And so I know this. I know for sure that this is not, I'm not even going to clown on PT school. This is not taught in any school, okay? All right? But I specifically have positioned this for those that want to learn these skills and learn it, particularly for healthcare professionals, whether you're going to go into PT or other areas. It's proven, it's tested. This is what I've used for thousands of students at this point. And it is called the 2120 Healthcare Challenge. It starts January 6th. People are joining now. It is actually, as of tonight, it's turned into my largest ever online classroom I've ever had in the history of me doing online programs. Right. So it's only 21 days. You'll have access to it for 30 days. So 15 to 20 minute video from me every single day with a corresponding group of coaches. Joseph is actually going to be one of the coaches. Joseph and Casey is going to be one of the coaches for one of the 21 days. And by the end of it, you'll be at an entry level of learning these things that will radically, not just change, it'll change your life, but make you no longer have to even question any of the financial ramifications of PT school.
Cool.
Like that's it. You can learn about it at 2120 healthcare.com or 2120hcc.com.
Would someone mind commenting that below? Whoever's watching this live. Y'all listen.
Yo, okay, so highly advise you, go do your research. It's in your best interest to sign up. I don't know if I'll ever do this again. I don't know if I'll ever be this silly to do this again. But right now, honestly, I got to be honest with y'all. I have a dream of helping 2020 healthcare professionals this year. This year, it's the year of impact and mass. And I actually put on my thing, massive impact. That's what this year is. And I want to be able to help. I've seen now that my methods are proven across all professions, not just physical therapists, across all professions. I just want to be able to help a lot of people. But can I say something? Is that okay?
Say it.
This is. Remember, I said I was going to talk to you before we did the live stream. So I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk to you with the people on, and I want to say this. As I told you all, I'm an immigrant kid. I did not grow up in the ghetto. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, one of the poorer kids in a middle-class neighborhood. My brothers and my younger brother was just here this past weekend. My older brother was here last weekend, and we talked about what made us who we are. My older brother is a millionaire in real estate, and he now does online, and he makes about $70,000 to $90,000 a month selling Amazon products. I make, between all of my businesses, between $300,000 to $600,000 a month. My younger brother is the regional manager for Red Bull. So we were saying, what made us who we are? And I don't know, I think it's a combination of things, but I just want you all to know that I don't come from wealth, okay? There's hunger that we do have. That was a mutual thing, is that there's hunger and there was a healthy competition that we had. So with that said, today was a very interesting day for me. And I want you all to understand a few things that about what I'm about to tell you about today. So today, my mother-in-law and two of her sisters, she is one of 12. They had one sibling that passed away. So she's one of 12. And two of her siblings, her sisters, actually visited us today, okay? And they're from Jamaica. Now, Jamaica is a very small island. And today, when they came to our house, the first time they visit us at our house, and we've lived there for right under 2 years. And remember now, they're from Jamaica, an island. And today, they asked if they've never been on a boat before. And they asked if I could take them out on my boat. And I took them out on my boat. And I saw the three of them. I saw my mother-in-law in the center of the boat. I have a picture of it, but it was taken on my wife's phone. My mother-in-law was in the center of the boat, and her two sisters were there, and they hadn't seen each other in years. Okay. My mother-in-law lives here. She actually cleans my clinics. Her sister, one, is basically a nanny and goes from island to island to get work and is here. And her other sister is actually here on a visa in California, and she's a nurse in Jamaica, but she doesn't have her license here, so she has to work and just kind of work for an old man in his home. And they got to experience something, all three of them got to experience something for the first time that only I could give to them. And I was able to take them on a boat ride through this beautiful area called Indian Shores and Indian Rocks Beach. And I just saw the three of them. I didn't hardly say anything, y'all. I just saw the three of them bond as sisters. And at the end, they said, like, thank you so much for doing that for us. We've never done this together. We've never even been on a boat. So why do I tell you all that story? I tell you all that because, today, right now, you might think that your life is just about like you. And like, look, I just need to get in PT school, or I don't need to get in PT school. And that's fine. I mean, whatever. But Joseph said something, and I was like, like I was there today, and it touched me. Like I actually have to turn around. I was getting a little emotional as I'm driving the boat. We're just kind of cruising, and I'm showing them the sunset and all that other stuff. But I was like, here we are in this country, having this amazing opportunity. Every single one of you, Alex Gaffney, Wesley, Brenton, Jelani, Gabby, F. Scott, we all have this amazing opportunity to make life not just better for us, but for people that will never get the opportunity that you have gotten. And you have the ability to do it. It might be a little uncomfortable. It might be out of your typical mindset of what your parents think or your bobo professor. But you have this ability to impact so many people through pushing forward with your dreams of becoming a physical therapist. But just adding one more thing to it. Just add this one more thing. And if you do that, you can make life so good. Not just for yourself, not just for your patients, but for your community, for your future family, for maybe loved ones that just never got the opportunity. But you have it. So what are you going to do with it? It meant everything today to me. Not for them to say thank you, just to watch them. It was beautiful. Now, if y'all don't believe me, when I tell you the things that I'm going to tell you, that I've told you, and I'll bring back up this screen here just for a second. The power of these three things and understanding it work for you means that you can get to the point where if you understand how these things all work, and when you get over here, again, it's going to challenge you because they're not going to teach you this in school, but you can actually use the skills and the gifts that you have to be able to serve people at a very high level. The amount of income that you can generate is absolutely phenomenal. Now, besides taking out my aunt, my two aunts and my mother-in-law today, I also spent some time with my oldest daughter and my oldest son, and I took them out on the boat by themselves for an hour and a half and just talked to my two teenagers and had a great conversation with them. Just a great conversation, just dad and my two oldest kids. I took my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter out on a date today, a breakfast date. I got to just talk to them. That's it, just them, just them. I got to play Nintendo Switch, Super Mario Smash Bros. With my youngest boy.
That's amazing, man.
And I say all that because today, I'm going to show you. Today, this is what went into my bank account automatically in one day. And that's what I did on the first day of the year. Now, did you treat patients today, Joseph? No. There was nobody that treated patients at our clinics today. I didn't treat any patients today. And that's what's available to every single one of you. Unless you think I'm privileged because of my skin color or because I'm an immigrant. That's available to every single one of you. But you have to make the decision on whether or not you're going to listen to what I say. And, that's really it. But I don't know, man. Today, that's what I wanted to tell you off camera. But I'm glad that we did it on camera. I just felt like that was the right thing to do. Because none of that would have happened if I didn't pay attention to those other three things. And that's it. So.
I just want to firstly say thank you to you, man. Just because just understanding those other three and it continuing to grow those other three has already transformed my life, man. I mean, to be honest, we're not really doing this live stream if that doesn't exist. I mean, pre-PT grind doesn't exist, and the ability to, with my now young family, just being able to just say, wow, like, man, like that was my last year of PT school. If I had never, like, my wife and I were actually talking about this, and we were saying, like, if we had never learned those things, our life looks drastically different. Like, one, I'm not in Florida. Two, just knowing myself now more, there would, like, a lot of the complaints that a lot of pre-PTs hear in the clinic, I would have been one of the ones dishing those out.
Right.
I just know that, like, and that says that speaks to the fact that nobody is, like, I don't think people's intentions come from just the fact that they just want to rebel. No, it's just because they just don't know.
They don't know. They just don't know. They don't know. So the thing is that what's so ironic about this is that the total is my yearly total as my first year of a PT not knowing. The total today is my yearly total of what I made as a first year PT of not knowing.
That's crazy, man.
That's what this shows.
In one day.
In one day. So, you know, I don't know. I was like, there's something to, like, this is crazy. Like, this is nuts. But that's what it is. And I just want people to know, don't clown PT. Do not clown PT. This has nothing to do with PT. Every single industry changes. If Blockbuster would have changed,
Netflix.
They had a chance to buy out Netflix.
Yep.
But they were too stubborn. And they were arrogant. And they're gone. That's it, man.
I have nothing else to add, man. That was everything. Shoot. It's everything I wish I would have known. And for those of y'all listening, I saw the question earlier. As a pre-PT, can you join the challenge? Heck yeah. Like, if you guys want to start learning these things, heck freaking yeah. But like Greg says, you're gonna have to decide. You have to decide. There's no point in us sitting here and just saying you should. No. Like, just decide. Decide, what do I want? Understanding this one thing, that this video has completely removed any excuse you can come up with from here on out. Like, knowledge is great, so we just educate, and then at that point you decide. But like Greg says, in 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 months, 1 hour, if you come back to this and say, oh, okay, shoot, like, he was speaking the truth, just understand that that's the scope. Like Greg says, that's the lens that you should use from here on out to look at everything. When you are in PT school, use that lens. Realize what your professors are saying. Trust me, most of my professors, that's honestly the reason why I don't even go back to speak to my school, because most of my professors see it the exact opposite. They really do. So I already know there's no value I can add, so I'm not going back, right? So like, your professors, you'll understand that's why they feel this way. The PTs you're observing, that's why they feel this way. But Greg just said it best, y'all. PT is like, if you fall in love with it, don't fall out of love with it because of what you're seeing. It's just a byproduct of people deciding, well, some just don't know. So they never had a chance. Now you do. But the ones that did decided not to learn it because it seemed harder on the surface. Well, that's not what every other PT does. Well, that's not what most other pre-PTs do, Greg. Most other pre-PTs focus on their application, and that's it. So, hey, maybe it's not my time to do it right now. Maybe it's not my time. But then it just, like, then at the next stage, I'm in PT school. Well, I got to focus on my boards. Well, I'm a physical therapist. Well, I just got to get my first few years in. I want to get good at treating. Well, then all of a sudden, you find yourself being the very physical therapist trying to talk other pre-PTs off the ledge of ever, like, getting into the dream, like getting into the profession of their dreams. It's a choice. So just decide what you want. If y'all want to join us next week, great. Let's dive in. 21-20 healthcare challenge. Let's start learning those other 3 pieces. And if you don't, that's fine. Now you know what's what. But this is everything any and every pre-PT who is struggling with the financial, like, any pre-PT going into the profession should understand this. This should just be the norm. It's just that we have to start somewhere, so we're going to start in this group for pre-PTs. But this should be the norm. This should be, man, the dream, Greg, in 10 years, if these pre-PTs are becoming professors and this is what they're teaching, and now pre-PTs are going into physical therapy school and this is what they're understanding, this is what they're hearing, wouldn't that be beautiful?
Shoot, what would even be better is you do it like me. You got so much money, you could teach for free. See, like, I go to school, I just teach for free.
Mercy.
I'm just, the only time I charge schools today is if they want my personal time. If they want my personal time, then you got to pay the regular rate of $3K an hour today. But if you will let me just speak via this, I'll speak. I don't even need to get paid because this is so important to save the profession. You got it? So I would love for y'all 10 years from now where you can actually just eliminate all the professors because you know this so well and you're you're straight and you're like, yo, I just want to give back. Because if you understand this and you understand that my job and the only, listen, you're going to have to figure out a way that you're going to have to give so much more value to people than what you're actually taking from people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you're going to have to figure that out. And those things that I showed you are the ways that create the most value currently in the United States of America. Regardless if you're in healthcare, you're in a restaurant business, it doesn't matter. That's what it is. So if you want to learn how to create more value for people, my advice is for you to learn those other three things. If you only want to be able to create value in that one thing, then you're going to have to look at the averages and then decide for yourself what your next step needs to be. I highly am not recommending that. I'm recommending for you to do the former.
Nothing else to say.
That's it.
That's it, y'all. Listen, can we first of all just say thank you to Greg? Everyone that's watching live on replay, can we just say thank you to Greg? Thank you from me personally, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for thank you for like even though you don't have to, man. Thank you so much for doing this, like preaching this for our profession because it's a beautiful one, man. I always tell people it's the best thing. Like a profession in healthcare, you know what I mean? But hey, that's just me. But thank you for doing this for PT. Thank you for doing this for a lot of us, man. For our families, current and future. Thank you, man. Thank you. And for those of y'all that are watching this, if y'all want to join us next week, you can comment me below. You can go to the link, or if you're stuck, just send me a message and let's talk about it. But man, if y'all can just understand this, it's a wrap. And there should be no problems with your profession at all. In fact, you'll love it that much more. Greg, hold up. You've been a PT for how
long? This will be December of 2000. So when I became a PT. So 19 years, going year 20.
20 years as a PT. Man, I don't know about y'all. I don't think I've seen a PT 20 years into their profession still loving the profession. So that in itself should be an indicator. But that's it, man. G, anything else you want to say to the people before we wrap it up tonight?
I think you said it. I think at the end of the day, there are actors that have been in the game for 20 years and they love it. Well, because it's the ones that are good at it. It's the ones that adapted. Like that's it. Yeah. If you're a washed up actor, I hate acting. Acting's changed. But if you're one of the Will Smiths of the world,
you still loving it.
Like you're loving it because you changed.
Mercy.
You adapted. The legends figure it out. But that's why there's only a few of them. The other ones are like, acting's not what it used to be. Nah, baby. You just
living in the past.
You just never leveled up. That's all it is. I love PT. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
That's it. I love everything about it. You want to know why? Because everything gives me an opportunity.
Mercy.
Everything gives me an opportunity. There's no good, there's no bad. There's just things. And everything gives me an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Man, appreciate all of y'all for your time tonight and just investing in yourself. I'm proud of every single one of you. Greg, thank you once again. Y'all, let's freaking get it. This is just day one. Today's January 1st. Oh, Lord, man, 2020 is about to be fire. So y'all, if this is the year y'all want to take charge of your life as a pre-PT specifically, man, let's start right here. There's no better place to begin simply put. Y'all have a blessed night. Much love. We'll talk to y'all. Bye.